Welcome to Best in Tesla. So in today's video I will do some predictions of 2021, and you can of course also do some predictions by leaving your predictions in the comments below, so we can come back to this video in 1 year and see how wrong or how right we were. And not just about Tesla, but also some of the competition, because I do think that 2021 will be the year where we will see Tesla take off to new heights and really set themselves apart from the rest in the EV world. So let's take a look at the numbers and let's dive right in. Before we dive in, I just want to say I don't care about one market. It's not just only China, only Europe or Norway. I'm talking about the global sale. So we are not cherry picking any numbers here. Let's dive into the numbers. So the Volkswagen Group sold 231,600 in 2020. With the Audi E-tron, the ID.3, the Porsche Taycan and the Golf E that they don't make anymore, and the E-Up that they will also phase out. Tesla, on the other hand, made 499,550 in 2020, so more than double of the entire Volkswagen Group. I know some people are talking about plug-in hybrids, but I'm only talking about BEVs, fully electric vehicle. I don't care much about plug-in hybrids. To me, they are only a stepping stone to full BEV. They are not the future. They are kind of the worst of both worlds, not the best of both worlds. We are only talking about BEVs here. The Volkswagen Group did triple in 2020, but I don't think they will be able to do that in 2021, simply because they don't have the batteries to do so. I of course don't know if they have the batteries to do so, but this is my guess. And I know many people are talking about the ID.3 that is selling very well, but I think we are already seeing the ID.3 going a bit down in sales in some countries. So yes, it took off like a rocket, but we gotta remember there was a big pent-up demand for the ID.3 with all the pre-orders. So they didn't really have to sell anyone to get great results in the beginning, and Volkswagen had all the cars ready because they did start production of the ID.3 all the way back in November 2019. But because of software problem, the ID.3 did not get out to customers before September 2020. So all Volkswagen had to do to get great sales numbers of the ID.3 was just to deliver all their cars to customers that had already ordered, because the car was already built. So of course the ID.3 took off like a rocket, and I expected nothing else. But I actually expect the ID.3 sales to go a bit down because of a couple of things. Firstly, the pent-up demand with all the pre-orders are probably starting to be over now. Now they have to rely on new orders coming in, and as we have talked about before, and Greenpeace showed us with their secret shoppers, the dealerships do not want to sell this electric car because they don't earn much on selling the EV, and they don't earn much on maintenance afterwards and service checks. So dealers are not pushing the sales of the EVs. Secondly, I don't think Volkswagen can or want to ramp up too fast. Firstly, they don't have the batteries to go out and make 500,000 ID.3s. Secondly, they are still losing money on all the electric vehicles, so if they sell 500,000 or 1 million BEVs, it will not look good on their balance sheet. Volkswagen has been saying that they will get to 1.5 million EVs by 2025, and they made about 230,000 in 2020. So to get to 1.5 million, they only need to grow about 250,000 EVs per year to be at 1.5 million in 5 years. So to expect them to grow much more than just 250,000 in 2021, I think would be very unrealistic. And that will make the Volkswagen Group produce about 480,000 EVs in 2021. They will come out with the ID.4 in 2021 that should be a very popular car and sell very well. Again, there will also be some pinned up demand for this car, so the start of the sales should be very good. Also because this car is also being sold in the US, which the ID.3 will not. But the question is, what is Volkswagen's battery capacity at this point? Because even though they will not make the E-Up and the E-Golf anymore, they will also come out with the new Audi e-tron GT that looks very cool and could be selling very well. Probably something like the old e-tron that sold about 50,000 in 2020. And we do know that Audi did produce about 10,000 less of the e-tron than the first expected because of battery shortage. So where is Volkswagen Group today? Well, I have not been able to find any numbers on how many gigawatt hours of batteries they have available, but we do know that their main partners to produce batteries for them are LG Chem, CATL and SKI. And LG Chem is the #1 battery manufacturer in the world right now. Although LG Chem initially expected its production capacity to stand around 100 gigawatt hour at the end of 2020, it did adjust it to 120 gigawatt in a conference call. Probably also because Tesla is also in partnership with them and has probably also made a big order with them, just like with CATL, pushing them all to make more batteries. But LG Chem expects its production capacity to double to 260 gigawatt hours, but not before 2023. So the biggest battery supplier has a capacity about 100 to 120 gigawatt hours, but supplies so many automakers, including Tesla and GM and Ford and so on and so on. So Volkswagen can't get all of them even if they wanted to. So what would be a realistic number of gigawatt hours that Volkswagen Group would be able to get in 2021? Maybe 10 gigawatt hours from each supplier or something like that. So maybe 30 gigawatt hours. That would be enough for about 400,000 EVs with a 75 kilowatt hour battery. And some of the cars is coming with a smaller battery, but some is also coming with a bigger battery. So 75 kilowatt hours is probably not too far off to use as a guidance. So does Volkswagen Group have more batteries than this? Well, I don't think so. And they have to produce both the ID.3, the ID.4, Porsche Taycan, Audi e-tron, Audi e-tron GT, Audi Q4 e-tron, the Skoda Enyaq, the Seat hatchback Cupra Elborn. So if we split them evenly, even though it's not going to be like that, the Porsche is not going to sell as much as the ID.4 and so on, but it would not be more than 50,000 per vehicle they can produce. And that may sound pretty good, and it would be for Volkswagen, but when we compare them to my predictions for Tesla, we really start to see the acceleration that Tesla is going to take this year, and can really see that Tesla will not be caught, but is widening the gap to the competitors. Because I predict that Tesla will produce about 1 million vehicles in 2021, and the Tesla Model Y alone, I predict, will sell even more than the entire Volkswagen Group combined. Because the Model Y has already started to gain big momentum in the US and has just started deliveries in China. And the Chinese factory has right now the capacity to produce about 3,000 Model Ys per week. That is about 150,000 per year, but they will of course ramp up the production and will probably be closer to 5,000 per week at the end of the year, just like we saw with the Model 3 ramp in China. So I do believe they will be closer to 200,000 Model Ys, but let's just take the more conservative number of 150,000 Model Ys from Giga Shanghai. And I do believe they will sell every car they make in China, so that will also be the delivery numbers. And we do know that the Fremont factory can produce about 500,000 Model 3s and Ys combined. The question is more, how many of each will they make? I believe the Model Y will overtake the Model 3 in 2021 in the US, so I think we will see something like 300,000 Model Ys and 200,000 Model 3s in rough numbers. So 150,000 from Shanghai and 300,000 from the Fremont factory, then we are at 450,000 Model Ys. And then we have the Giga Berlin factory coming online this summer. And I believe they will be able to make same kind of ramp as we have seen in China, so about 3,000 Model Ys per week when they get it going. And if we say they will be at this level the last 25 weeks of the year, that will be about 75,000 Model Ys. So let's again be conservative here, because there is a lot of new technology in this car and factory, so we can expect some delays with the new casting and batteries and so on. But both are already being tested, and we have already seen Model Ys on the street with the new casting. So I do believe that Tesla will be ready to deliver in Berlin. But let's just say 50,000 Model Ys out of Giga Berlin this year. And then we still have the Texas factory that will also come online this year and will start production of the Model Y as well. Maybe we will see something like 25,000 coming out of that factory. But that would all add up to 525,000 Model Ys produced in 2021. This is more than I believe the whole Volkswagen Group will deliver of EVs this year. And that is just the Model Y. And let's just be conservative, if you can call it that, to say 500,000 Model Ys in 2021. That is still probably more EVs than any other automakers will produce for the entire year of EVs, and especially for one brand. And even though something like the Ford Mustang Mach-E is being seen as a competitor, and it should be because it's also a very good electric car in the SUV and crossover market, but Ford will probably not make more than 50,000 of the Mach-E in 2021. So 500,000 Model Ys against 50,000 Mach-Es. Yes, they are competitors because they're in the same segment, but they are not in the same league. It's like Roger Federer playing tennis with my 3-year-old son. That will never be a fair fight, but it's nice that my 3-year-old son wants to play. And then we have the Renault Zoe, the little cheap car that is a very good selling EV that sold 115,000 in 2020. But I don't think it will double in 2021 for the same reason that Volkswagen won't. So if they deliver more than 150,000 Zoes in 2021, I will be really impressed. So I do believe the Model Y will be the best selling EV on a global scale with about 500,000 cars, closely followed by the Model 3. So this is also why I think CATL in China will favor Tesla over Volkswagen, because Tesla will be a better business case for CATL, because Tesla will buy more batteries than Volkswagen will, so CATL will earn more money by giving a bigger piece of the pie to Tesla. So that is why Tesla will also have more battery capacity than everyone else, also because they are already producing about 35 gigawatt hours of battery from the Nevada factory, or should we say Panasonic is. But Tesla is also going to join the party of making batteries this year. They will already this year produce at least 10 gigawatt hours of their own batteries, and that is only from the Fremont pilot project. But both the Berlin and Texas factory, I believe, will also start battery production this year. We know for sure that Giga Berlin will, and Tesla has been saying they will produce about 100 gigawatt hours in 2022. So they will not just go from 10 gigawatt to 100 gigawatt overnight. So this will of course gradually ramp up. So they will at least make 10 gigawatt hours of production of their own batteries this year. This is actually a very big deal. As we just talked about, that is probably about a third of all Volkswagen's battery capacity in 2021 that Tesla will make themselves and put them in the Model Y in Europe. And the other guys have hardly started. GM made a partnership with LG Chem for the US factory that will produce about 30 gigawatt hours in 2023. Tesla will next year produce over 100 gigawatt hours of their own made batteries, and only scale up from here quicker than anyone else. And I know I have had some comments about, but do you really think that all the big battery manufacturers won't just do the same thing and scale up just as fast and so on? Yeah, I really don't think they can. This is what disruption looks like. Tesla is leapfrogging everybody else in the battery industry with their new battery technology. But Tesla has tailor-made this battery, not just to be better in every way and as cheap as possible to produce, but more importantly, being super fast to mass produce. And Tesla has even gone into mining to make sure they will have enough materials, something no other battery manufacturer has ever done. And we can just take a look at the factory that LG Chem, the biggest battery manufacturer in the world, is building in partnership with GM. First of all, it will take LG Chem about 3 years to build the damn factory, and then the factory will only be able to produce about 30 gigawatt hours. Tesla will build not only a battery factory, but a factory that will both be building cars and batteries, and they will already be at 100 gigawatt hours next year. And the factories that they have been built in about 1 year, and when they ramp up, they will all be spitting out more than 100 gigawatt hours of batteries each. As Elon said, the Gigabillion factory will be the biggest battery plant in the world when it's done, with over 100 gigawatt hours, and in the future maybe 200 to 250 gigawatt hours. So yes, I don't believe the big battery manufacturer will be able to keep up, because they have not designed their battery to be mass produced like Tesla's. It's not only the battery itself, but it's the production of it that is the biggest innovation. Surely someone can come along with a solid state battery that is twice as good as Tesla's batteries, can charge 5 times faster and live 20 years longer or whatever, but it all doesn't matter one bit if it is many times too expensive to produce and can't be produced at scale. And I'm not just talking about 30 gigawatt hour scale, I'm talking about 1,000 gigawatt hours. Tesla will make about 3,000 gigawatt hours in 10 years time. So if it takes LG Chem 3 years to build one factory that can produce 30 gigawatt hours a year, well, you do the math. They are of course also going to scale up as fast as they can, and they do believe that they will have about 260 gigawatt hours in 2023 with all their factories combined. But remember, Tesla has just shown us that Tesla can make 1,000 gigawatt hour battery factory in a smaller footprint than the finished Nevada factory. So Tesla's new production method with continuous flow are truly the biggest breakthrough. And I believe Tesla will make more batteries than LG Chem already in 2023. So yes, I believe Tesla will be the biggest battery manufacturer because this is a disruptive technology, not just the batteries themselves, but the way Tesla is able to produce them. And we have seen this many times before in other industries when disruptive technology comes along. Do you really think that anyone can knock down Nokia? You don't think Nokia will just do the same thing? Kodak is the biggest boy in the industry. No one will be able to knock them down. And Blockbuster. Yeah, well, I think you get the point. Big empires have fallen before, and Elon Musk has shown that he can do stuff people think is impossible. There will never be something like a private rocket company. Reusable rockets are impossible. You can't land a rocket on a drone ship in the middle of the ocean. Yeah, little scrappy SpaceX has become the space industry's biggest player. This is how disruptive technology works. It disrupts, turning whole industry on its head. And Tesla is not just doing this in the car industry, they will do this in the battery industry as well. So I believe 2021 will be the year where we will see just how big Tesla has become and how fast they are moving, and how small the big boys has become in the EV world and how slow they are moving. And just think about it, Tesla's factory that is not yet built and won't be ready until summer will produce more Model Ys than Ford will produce of their Mark E in all of 2021. This is my bet anyway. Maybe Ford will beat the Gigabillion factory, but it will be really close, both about 50,000 each. But that is what Tesla will produce in their not finished factory, and will in total produce 500,000 Model Ys that they just started production of in March 2020 from one factory. And before this year is done, Model Y will be spitting out of 4 factories, selling 10 times more than the Ford Mark E. Yeah, Ford, that produces 7 million cars a year, will in 2021 look like a child playing catch-up with Usain Bolt. And Tesla will only speed up from here on out. I think everyone will see this by the end of the year, because this will be so obvious when we see 500,000 Model Ys and 1 million electric cars in total, and someone like GM will produce about 10,000 Hummer EVs if we're lucky. And yes, GM will still produce many million cars, but 99 of them will be ICE cars, the type of car that nobody wants in 10 or 15 years time, and is not allowed in many countries in 10 years time. So the sales of ICE cars does not really matter. The sales of ICE cars is the problem that the big boys can't really seem to get out of, because all the new startups doesn't have this problem. So it's going to be at least just as hard for the big boys to turn their big ship around to all electric as it is for the startups to get mass production. So to make it very short, oh well, that's kind of too late, but my predictions of 2021 is the Volkswagen Group will make about 400,000 EVs, and that will be some of the best in the industry. But Tesla will produce about 1 million cars, setting themselves apart from all the rest, just like in 2020, but with an even bigger gap. And Model Y is the best-selling EV in the world with about 500,000, closely followed by the Tesla Model 3. Tesla will produce at least 10 gigawatt hours of their own batteries. They will put them in the Model Y that is coming out of Giga Berlin. That will be at least 50,000. So Tesla will have enough batteries of their own to do this, because 10 gigawatt hours should be enough for about 130,000 Model Ys, so definitely possible. And we will of course also see the first semi-trucks being delivered, the Cybertruck, the Plaid Model S, and we will also soon see the new refreshed normal Model S. I unfortunately have to make the prediction, the guess, that we will not see the Roadster before 2022. It just seems like Tesla has more than enough on their plate this year, and as Elon said before, the Roadster is just the cherry on the cake, so it will not be a priority. But even without the Roadster, if all this comes true in 2021, this will be a humongous year for Tesla, and will make all the big boys start to panic. And that is without even talking about Tesla's solar and energy business, that I also think will take off in 2021. So please leave me your guesses down below, so we can look back at this video in 1 year time and see how wrong or right we were. But remember, I am gonna show your comments in a new video in 1 year time, so if you don't want me to show your comments, well, then don't comment. To all the rest that don't mind being held responsible for your comments and predictions, please give me your best shot in the comments below. And if I should give you my best bullish shot and nothing goes wrong and that's just smooth sailing for Tesla in 2021, my more precise bullish prediction is 1.165 million cars in 2021. That is my bull case. Bear case? Well, I have a hard time seeing them make less than 1 million, but let's say they will not make less than 900,000 vehicles, even with some hiccups along the way. But what is your guess? Let me know. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.